What's going on, guys? It's K-Dub here with another episode of CryptoZombie. Welcome back to the channel. Hope you're having a wonderful and beautiful day today. Now, we know that recently there was a bit of a spook happening across all markets due to the Omicron variant, right? So this isn't something that we need to go that deep into today. We have had massive fear, extreme fear actually, on the fear and greed index for Bitcoin. Now, today it has come up from 16 to 25. We are still in the extreme fear levels. However, you can see that Bitcoin has had a massive recovery all the way above $51,000 at the time of making this video. Now, it has coincided with a massive move for stocks as well. You could see stocks have actually maintained this upward sloping trend, and today the stocks are actually putting in quite a large green candle. Now, we don't know if this is a fake out pump or what. I mean, it's very early as far as stocks just opening today, but I do want to talk about the correlation between Bitcoin and stocks, and I want to discuss whether or not Bitcoin is actually finally setting up to just put in some higher highs, or whether or not we should still be cautious looking for some sideways consolidation. Could we actually retest some of those lower levels? So that's what I want to talk about in today's video. Also, the constant conversation over whether or not Ethereum will actually flip Bitcoin this cycle. There are analysts calling for a $40,000 Ethereum by summer of next year. Is that actually a possible, attainable goal for Ethereum to essentially do basically a 10x from where it is right now? And finally, I want to talk about a little bit of Facebook metaverse news and why some are saying it could actually be a little bit detrimental for the overall crypto space. And finally, guys, before we move on, I got scammed. Yes, I got scammed, my friends. Now, I'm going to tell you a little bit of a story about how I got scammed. If you're not interested in hearing this, well, timestamps are below. You can skip directly to the charts, but I thought I would just share this. Now, I often tend to consider myself pretty savvy when it comes to getting scammed, right? I mean, I'm very used to them. I grew up in the 90s with all these phone scams, etc. Plus, I'm also in crypto. So this wasn't actually crypto related. So the reason that I couldn't make a video yesterday is because I had to take my little leopard gecko, Honey Lemon, to the vet. Now, she needed to see a specialist because she's a reptile and she's having a bit of a respiratory infection, so I wanted to take her to a professional. So that's kind of just setting it up, right? So while I'm sitting in the car, because you can't go inside, with the vet, it's, because of the COVID and all that. So I'm sitting in the car and I get a text on my phone that says that your card has been attempted to be added to Apple Pay. Now, I already have my credit card connected to Apple Pay, so I thought that was a little bit weird. Didn't pay much attention to it. Then, a few minutes later, I get a phone call from fraud prevention. Makes a lot of sense, right? So they're like, you tried to add your card to Apple Pay. Was this you? 1 for yes, 2 for no. So I'm like, no, this wasn't me. Okay, fine. Please enter your 4-digit code. Sure, that's what they asked for usually, right? So I put my 4-digit code in, and then the next question that they asked was, what was the 6-digit code that was sent to you? Now, I did think that this was a little bit strange. Usually they would just send you a new code, but I just figured, okay, maybe they're not going to do it. So I waited a few minutes. Nothing happened. I'm still on the phone. It's still asking me to enter the code. So I'm like, all right, so I enter the 6-digit code, not thinking, right? Now, in hindsight, I know everyone's probably laughing at me saying, well, that was your mistake right there. So all of a sudden, but keep in mind, I'm not thinking straight. Like, I was really worried about my gecko. She hasn't been doing well. So if I was in a home situation, just chilling at my house, I probably would have thought this through a little bit better. But I'm dealing with the vet. I'm waiting for her to call me back on the phone. So I'm just entering this. I want to get it off the phone so I can clear it up. Well, long story short, what did I do? Well, I gave them my 4-digit PIN, and I also gave them the 6-digit confirmation code. The actual phone call was a scammer. It was a scam recorded message, and basically what they ended up doing was they got my information, and then a few minutes later, I'm noticing there's a $500 charge at an airport. There's a $30 charge here, so I basically gave it away. So I just wanted to let you guys know, if you do get any type of phone call like this, always be careful, and you should never enter the information. I got scammed. Basically, I gave them my PIN, and I gave them the 6-digit code because I thought it was fraud prevention, but the fraud prevention call was actually part of the entire scam. So long story short, I did have to cancel the credit card and get a new one. And yeah, so no one's safe from getting scammed. This is the first time I've ever actually been scammed in my whole life, and I just wanted to share it with you. Nobody's perfect, but please be safe out there, guys. Please be safe. So that's my big scam story. Feel free to make fun of me in the comments, but I definitely learned my lesson. Now, let's finally get in and talk about crypto. And of course, if you're not subscribed, don't worry. I don't always start these videos off with this type of a story. But yeah, kind of sucked, guys. It was a really, really annoying thing I had to do on top of the fact that I was dealing with that situation. And yes, you can hear the guys are working outside, so I do apologize for the sound in advance. But so having a look right here, we have had a massive move for the stocks today. From bottom to top, the stocks are actually up about 4.4. Actually, you know what, guys? I have to tell these. Let me go tell them to turn this off. Just give me a second. All right, sorry about that, guys, but I think you can appreciate not having a demo saw going right out my window during the entirety of this video. So, if you stuck around and you did listen to my story, thank you so much. If you're just hopping to this, then okay, thank you so much again. And here we go with the video. So, just ran downstairs, ran upstairs. We have had a pump in stocks of about 4.18% so far. So this is pretty incredible. In fact, we're actually sitting close to the support of where the stocks were sitting before they had their all-time high. Now, Bitcoin, we did mention, and if you guys watched my video about why I still believe that the bull market is intact, you'll know how I feel about the markets at this point, although I am still anticipating some type of consolidation. I'm not saying that we're going to have an absolute blast-off move, but you know what? If stocks start to put in an all-time high and the overall investor sentiment for these risky assets begins to turn positive again, then I do think maybe Bitcoin will just continue upwards, right? So having a look right here, we have had a retest right here of the VPVR after having a retest of the major support, right? So that is actually really positive for Bitcoin, and we are still sitting above the 200 daily moving average, which is arguably quite bullish for Bitcoin. Now, you can see that if I zoom in right here, we did put in some consolidation. Some people actually thought this might have been a bear flag. So if you did try to short this, well, unfortunately, we did break to the upside. However, you will notice that if I zoom in right here, we are having multiple resistances. Not only are we having the resistance of the bottom of this falling wedge type pattern right here, this green line, but we're also having resistance of this red line right here, which if I actually go out and show you the significance of this, that was sort of the, resistance that we had back here. And actually, if I zoom out even more, you could see that it was support back here during this, Wyckoff distribution that we had, right? So let me actually get back to the chart right here. And you can see that even once we were to break above this area, we still have to deal with this resistance as well. So we kind of have like three resistances really holding down Bitcoin, trying to keep down the price, trying to suppress the price, right? So as I said, a lot does depend on stocks. Once again, you can also see right here, this is a more simplified version where you can see that we are having the resistance of this bottom of the falling wedge right here for Bitcoin. So as I said, if, like, for example, if stocks do just continue to rally and everybody's all happy and nobody cares about what's going on with the variant and all this other stuff, then yeah, we could have a massive explosive move to the upside. And who knows, maybe in the next 3 weeks, we do put in an all-time high. However, when I did show you before that we did have this ascending, broadening channel right here, these often do revisit the start of the channel. And I'm still not ruling out a possibility of, some coming down here and retesting around the 30K level. Now, this is very extreme. I'm not saying we're going to do it. What would actually be more realistic and more likely for Bitcoin to do is actually just to come back down to this level down here and sort of retest the $40,000 level, right? That is still a possibility. So I just want to say before we go forward, I know that I am extremely bullish, but I want you to understand that there still is a possibility of consolidation, right? We could bounce around these levels even below 50K again, down into the 40s to maybe even the 53 kind of area. And don't forget right here, we do have the 100 sitting at around 54,610. So it did provide support here back in this area, and it did provide support here, but that is also going to be acting as a resistance. So I guess if you take anything away from what I've said so far, we have a lot of resistance to deal with. Now, there is that level. If we are able to get above that 54,000-ish area where the 100 daily moving average is, and we're able to get above this critical level where we had this support around 53,300, then I would actually start becoming a lot more optimistic for Bitcoin, and then maybe I would actually change my tune and say maybe we're not going to consolidate. Maybe we are going to continue upwards, but I would need to see Bitcoin put in a candle. For me, it would have to be around the $55,000 level and hold there, not just go there for a day. I mean, build some kind of a, few daily candles in a row, or even something on the weekly would be good. A nice weekly candle above the $55,000 level. That would be extremely bullish for Bitcoin. And then I don't think we even have to worry about any type of consolidation or going down to 40K or even 30K again. Then I would say, no, that's not going to happen. But because we're kind of playing around in no man's land, it still kind of could go either way. You could see right here, we have the two biggest areas for the VPVR, which is the most accumulated level according to volume, or most traded level according to volume. So we have this one right here at around 57, and 57 would just be like moon time, by the way. And we have this down here at around 47. And you could see that, this area right in here, there's not much going on. So we are sort of in no man's land for Bitcoin, okay? So, please watch my video from my previous video that I put out to show you guys why I don't believe the structure's broken. I do believe that Bitcoin is still maintaining a bullish trend, and we even said that we had a projected target of around $190,000 Bitcoin for the top of this cycle whenever it does happen. But in the meantime, on the day-to-day charts, we're still in muddy waters. We're not quite out just yet. And if we're unable to break above that sort of like $55,000 level that I'm looking at and hold above it, then I would anticipate, we could have something, where we come up, we retest this, we come back down here, maybe start putting in some type of a channel like this, and then we fall, or, we end up putting in sort of another rising wedge like this, where we could have, price even come up like this or something like that, before retesting. That's still a possibility. Signs are pointing towards consolidation over anything else. But like I said, we will have to keep our eyes on what's happening right now in the S&P. And we'll have to see if this continues to go up. I mean, if the S&P and traditional stocks continue to go higher and especially break all-time highs, then I think that would put a lot of investor confidence across the board. And keep in mind, I know that Bitcoin is supposed to be its own thing, but realistically, with all the institutional money and Wall Street and everyone else coming in, they're just going to treat it like they treat everything else. And, that is kind of, in a way, not what we want, but also what you want for mass adoption, for global adoption, right? You want it to be treated like an asset, like a traditional asset in a way. That's how these guys are going to feel more comfortable getting into Bitcoin. And if you want that flood of investor money to come in, well, these are the things that need to happen. Now, talking about what's going on with Bitcoin, we can say that Bitcoin whales have, in fact, been accumulating, right? So you do have data, according to Sentiment, saying that, and they do specialize in on-chain data, that addresses holding between 100 to 10,000 Bitcoin bought 67,000 Bitcoin beginning during the dump to 43.5K, which is currently worth around 3.44 billion. So they were accumulating. They were buying in mass. So clearly, whether or not we retest that level, they are looking at that sort of 43.5K level as a good accumulation zone, which is why I said it wouldn't be totally out of the cards to have a retest down to even the, $40,000, $43,000 level. But we are seeing that according to these charts, this is a good accumulation level for the whales, right? Having a look over here, in fact, Venture Founder, he said you already bought 8,117 Bitcoin in the low 50K since the November correction. Bitcoin dumps to 50K suddenly. What do you do? Well, according to this data, the third largest Bitcoin whale bought 2,702 more Bitcoin in one day. And that was around $50,000 for a whopping total of 136.7 million, guys. So someone out there is buying the Bitcoin. So, if you are out there panic selling, at some of these levels, I mean, unless you're trying to hedge yourself into some fiat or some stable coins, that's totally fine. But just ask yourself, who exactly are you selling to? Well, looks like we're selling to this whale right here. Now, the other thing we need to talk about is that whales have started depositing to exchanges again. This is often considered bearish, right? We saw those massive quantity of Bitcoin moving over to Coinbase. However, exchanges are still technically at a Bitcoin loss if we look at over time. There's still more coins off the exchange than there were several months ago, right? So we are still seeing investor confidence in holding the coin, but maybe there's some weak hands, or maybe they're just selling into the strength, right? Which which there really hasn't been much strength recently. So I don't know. You let me know what you guys think about this. Like I said, we have been getting a lot of mixed signals, but the one thing that I can tell you that I've always looked at fundamentally, and this is the Bitcoin hash rate, right? I mean, the hash rate is essentially the lifeblood of the Bitcoin network. And I do think that when hash rate is increasing, it is a very good thing for Bitcoin. It is showing that the network is getting stronger, right? And you can see right here above my head, we did in fact have a nice V bounce on this. And what's interesting is it actually started declining before the sell-off and started increasing during the sell-off, which was kind of a very interesting metric. So obviously we are seeing that there is confidence from the Bitcoin miners. So that's a good thing, right? Just to kind of end on that. Now, the big topic of conversation as well is whether or not Ethereum is actually going to flip Bitcoin. Now, the reason that I remain skeptical sort of on Ethereum flipping Bitcoin is because this isn't the first time that people have said this. I mean, people said this in 2017. They said it in 2019. They've been saying it for the past year. So this is not something new. People always talk about the flippening. Ethereum's going to flip Bitcoin. But I did show you that the Ethereum versus Bitcoin chart is sitting at a very critical level right here. And this, if broken, could signal that Ethereum is actually going to outpace Bitcoin. And even if Ethereum does fall down compared to the Bitcoin price right here, I showed you guys in my previous video that what we are doing anyway on the Ethereum to Bitcoin comparison is actually forming a giant sort of ascending triangle, which is bullish, textbook bullish. And yeah, I mean, it like I said, it would be really, really good for Ethereum and it would be really good for the altcoins. And it does show strength in the overall markets, right? Bitcoin is kind of its own thing, but Ethereum has always sort of led the rally for the altcoins and led the moment of sort of confidence for investors in the space. So having a look at what's happening with Ethereum, you could see that Goldman Sachs executive Raoul Pal is extremely optimistic. During an interview, he actually said, "I'm using best case probabilities, no certainties. I still think Ethereum finishes this year closer to 15,000 than to 10,000. So there's only about 3 weeks left in this year, and he's saying that we could potentially see a $15,000 Ethereum by the end of this year. Now, this is a pretty incredible prediction considering everything that's just happened, considering the massive crash, considering the fear that's been circulating these past few weeks. I've seen crazier, but that's definitely up there, right? He says just by the nature of what's actually going on right now in the chart pattern, you know, the people who are coming into the space, the small probability upside is that if it hits $40,000 by summer, he thinks that could happen because of the staking cycle and how the charts look. It's not my base case. My base case would be $20,000 ETH by March at the latest. So $40,000 Ethereum, just under a 10x from where we are right now by summer of next year. What do you guys think? I'm not gonna make a prediction on a $40,000 Ethereum, but what do you guys think about that? I mean, just in case we do have the flippening, and just in case Ethereum does break out of this massive trend and starts going on a rally that does get altcoins going crazy, I have been increasing my Ethereum holdings, and I've been telling you guys this for over a month right now. I have been buying more and more and more and more Ethereum because I do want to hedge myself, you know, if Bitcoin doesn't perform as well. I still always hold Bitcoin. I'm never going to sell my Bitcoin, but like I said, I have increased my Ethereum holdings, and I also am holding a little bit more altcoins than usual, only because of the speculative nature of the crypto space, but of course, it's a very low percentage of my portfolio. Another thing that you need to pay attention to is just simply what is happening with Ethereum as far as the deflationary nature, right? We've had over $5 billion, or in other words, 1.1 million ETH that has been burned, and you can go to watchtheburn.com right here to see it happening live in front of your eyes. So we do have a net reduction of about 68.48%. So a lot of investors are seeing that Ethereum is becoming deflationary, plus the fact that there's Ethereum locked in smart contracts, locked in liquidity pools. They're using it for DeFi. You need some Ethereum in your wallet to do Ethereum transactions, to buy these NFTs, right? And even though we do have a lot of other Ethereum competitors, Ethereum killers, you know, some people might say, still at the end of the day, the same way that Bitcoin is still holding its gold, virtual digital gold position, Ethereum is still holding its position as the #1 smart contract platform with the largest network. So because of that, and because of the deflationary nature of it, and because of the technicals happening on the charts, well, you could probably see a very big move, potentially a continuation for Ethereum Not to mention the fact that the Ethereum network is about to receive an update that should happen sometime tomorrow, which is the Arrow Glacier Network update. So this is designed to change the parameters of the difficulty bomb on the network. Now, keep in mind, this is only applicable to the proof of work networks. We do know that Ethereum is moving to proof of stake right now. As I'm making this video, they're trying to get everything over to ETH 2.0, right? So this is a mechanism that essentially is designed to significantly increase the difficulty level of the network, which makes miners stop opening new blocks. So how significant is this? Well, we do still have a lot of proof of work networks happening right now. So as of today, I would say it's important, but moving forward next year and the year, it's going to become less and less significant as everyone eventually just moves over to proof of stake, right? So finally, just want to end on one thing, and that is the open letter that was published on October 28th from Mark Zuckerberg of Facebook, talking about why they are changing to Meta. One quote says, "To reflect who we are and the future we hope to build, I'm proud to share that our company is now Meta. From now on, we will be Metaverse first, not Facebook first." Despite the monumental announcement, some crypto fans view the move as an attempt by Meta to bring further centralization to the internet, right? So if they decide that they're going to have their tokens and they're going to have their coins and do what they want, do you really think that Facebook is going to integrate Bitcoin and Ethereum? Or do you think they're going to do something like what they were going to do with Libra and have their own tokens? So last Tuesday, while speaking at a crypto gaming panel at the NFT Basel conference in Miami, you had Jeff Zerlin. He was asked his opinion of Facebook's vision for the metaverse. And this is what he had to say. He said, "I think we are entering a battle for the future of the internet, but I think that we have a lot of trends on our side. We're starting to see that grassroots internet communities are having incredible power in the physical world as well." However, despite Facebook claiming that it will work to build the metaverse responsibly, Zerlin said that the stakes are going to get larger and larger in the face of more powerful enemies. They're going to try to squash this beautiful thing that we built because it threatens them, it threatens their business model, their way of life, and it threatens their philosophy. So I do wonder, even though we are having this metaverse craze, is the decentralized aspect of it really truly going to be embraced? Not too sure about that, guys. It could definitely create a rift. In fact, I was watching an interview with Alex Machinsky, who is the CEO and founder of Celsius Network, and he was saying that he doesn't like the metaverse. He doesn't like what it stands for. It does seem like it is centralization, and if Facebook does become the main player, which, let's be honest, they have an insane network of users already around the world, literally billions of users using Facebook, that would give them the competitive advantage, and what would that do for the decentralized space, right? It's just something to think about. It's not saying that it's going to be terrible and, Decentraland and Sandbox are just going to fail. No, there's always going to be people that are going to use it, but will we be able to fight and keep up with these centralized entities? That really is the key takeaway of this. So, as I said, guys, I am keeping a firm eye on what is happening right now. Stocks are absolutely freaking booming right now. I would love to see a recovery. I mean, I'm not rooting for Bitcoin to go to 30K, although I wouldn't mind buying a little bit cheaper one more time, not going to lie. But at the end of the day, we have to keep an eye on what the entire space is doing, not just the crypto space. This is becoming a very large play for these traditional investors. So, yeah, that's basically where I'm ending the video. I think this video was long enough. So thank you so much for coming back to the channel. You guys rock. You are the reason that I make these videos. I hope you're having a wonderful and phenomenal day today. And if you did buy the dip, congratulations. And yeah, I think that's about where we ended. So as usual, if you guys have not gotten subscribed, definitely click that button, click the like button, and also check out the free Telegram group where we talk about just cryptocurrencies and all types of blockchain related fun stuff that is below. And of course, guys, if you haven't seen these videos popping up right here, right now, do yourself a favor, check them out. And until next time, stay crypto, and of course, peace out.